1960s was a time of major conflict within the United States. America was at war with Vietnam, and many people believed that the war was unnecessary. Protests became frequent during the 1960s. One of the most popular slogans of the protesters was "Make love, not war." People who protested the war became known as hippies. These hippies were often associated with rock and roll music and drugs. In 1969, hundreds of thousands of people gathered at the Woodstock Music Festival to promote peace. Popular musicians that preached peace were the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, the Grateful Dead, and many more. Artists also wrote songs about drugs and the effects that they had on them. "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds" was a popular song by the Beatles that was about the hallucinogenic effects of LSD. This was one of the first times that music was very politically driven, and more artists started coming out with music that opposed government actions and war. John Lennon of the Beatles wrote one of the most famous songs of the 1960s called "Imagine." The song preached peace and unity. Overall, the 1960s was a very important time for music. So many bands and artists influenced the people of America and people all around the world. Although the 1960s was a long time ago, music still impacts people in today's world. The world faces many of the same problems now as it did back then. War and terrorism plagues the earth, and music is always common ground where people can unite. Millions of people still listen to the music from the 1960s because it had such a big impact on their life. They say the 1960s was the best decade for music, and that opinion is hard to argue, and the music will continue to live on through future generations.